Welcome to This Generation. I'm Bethany Stanley. One of the major things focused on this generation is how the youth of our villages are struggling with the traditions of the past and meeting with the direction of the future. History teaches us that as times pass, every generation faces these issues. Although the outcomes can be similar or different for those who become elders, there is one simple fact that remains the same throughout every passing culture. The younger generation is going in a different direction. So today we take you to a village where children are of wrong way, or as the Yupik call it, Alakanuk. Alakanuk, a Yupik word for wrong way, aptly applies to this village on this maze of watercourses. In fact, the story goes that Alakanuk got its name when a Yupik shaman and his family settled at this location after taking a wrong turn up Alakanuk Pass thinking it was the Yukon River. Located at the east entrance of Alakanuk Pass, the major southern channel of the Yukon Delta River. Alakanuk is 15 miles from the Bering Sea and approximately 162 air miles northwest of Bethel. Averaging 60 inches of snowfall and 19 inches of total precipitation per year, with temperatures ranging from 79 in the summer to minus 25 in the winter. Alakanuk stretches over a 3-mile area along the pass, making it the longest village on the lower Yukon. It was incorporated as a second-class city in 1969. Today, Alakanuk Pass has a population of about 652 and is continually growing. Alakanuk experiences a seasonal economy, with most occurring during summer. 76 residents hold commercial fishing permits. Many have gill net permits and others are set net fishermen. Because commercial fishing has provided poor returns the last few years, subsistent food sources have become a large importance to this expanding city. But as we find in most communities in rural Alaska, Alakanuk lacks constructive outlets, and with the influences of a faster Western culture, the youth have become discouraged with their place in the future ahead.
Because when you're growing up and you're at that age, your friends are who you identify with, and you really don't have a place to meet because it makes who you are. And they don't have a place. The kids here I see hang out like at the laundromat, and that's not a place for kids to hang out. And then they hang out outside or at the school, and they need a place of their own, yes.
I think a lot of the reason for drug abuse out here could be boredom. And, I see kids on the weekends riding around, or they ride around their snow machines, they play basketball outside. So sometimes we have, Cindy Reeves works here at the school. She has open gym where she has the kids come on the weekends and play basketball. It's really good for them. But if they had a center, a place where they could meet, where it'd be a sober place, then I think that'd be good for them.
I see a lot getting to drinking, vandalizing buildings, breaking into buildings, staying out. I see the kids staying out late.
It's a big problem. Mostly they're involved with smoking cigarettes and drugs and drinking and getting curfew tickets, staying out late and running away from the cops.
There are some problems out here, but these are good kids, and they're as capable as learning as any kids anywhere. And I think the kids here have some problems that are similar to kids in other places. I come from lower 48 in Minnesota, and when I taught there, these kids have similar problems to kids everywhere, I think. And they also have some unique challenges they face too.
I think boredom does lead to a lot of drug and alcohol use, because when I talk to the youth and I ask them, so why do you start doing this? Why do you start drinking? Or why did you drink? Or something like that. A lot of the students reply with, there's nothing else to do.
Just like in any community anywhere else, there's these problems everywhere. So I have come in contact with students that are having to go through these problems.
Immamak really needs a teen center or a club or some kind of program. Like right now we're just getting into the Boys and Girls Club of America. And,
It's to give them another option instead of getting into trouble.
Although Alakanuk has no teen center now, there was a time when the youth did have a place to spend their time constructively.
Back then I was on the Snowflake Committee. We had our old teen center, which is the purple building, just in the middle of town. I was a committee member, and I used to always get phone calls saying, hey, when are you going to open the teen center? We want to go hang out down there. And basically we used to just maintain that building and have our own little activities. I remember we used to do activities on our own, like the arm game where you reach out and with the arm, or we'd play the game Limbo. And plus they had cable in the teen center. We'd just sit there and watch cable. We used to have dances in there. We used to keep open. On weekends we used to keep open till I think 1 during the summertime. And on during the school year, on weekdays we'd be open till like 9 or 10. And there'd be a lot of kids who would go there and hang out. There's a good place to go.
For now, the only place these kids have to go is the school gym. And on this evening, the boys' basketball team was busy practicing for their big game against the neighboring village of Immamak.
Generation.
Flying in Alaska? Fly Frontier, the official airline of Heartbeat Alaska. Frontier is expanding again. They've added new routes to Nome, Kotzebue, and the surrounding villages. As you can see, Frontier is now really covering Alaska. So the next time you fly, try Frontier. Frontier offers quick, convenient check-in, low fares, and service direct to many of the villages. Frontier Flying Service is the official airline of Heartbeat Alaska. Make it your official airline too.
Turn it up! Turn it up!
I can make a difference.
I am a commercial fisherman. I am a tribal leader. I know how to work together and bring people together. I'm running because I've been down to Juneau several times in the past few years, and I think we need a change of leadership down there. I have the experience of economic development in rural Alaska and providing health care in rural Alaska, and we need to make sure these rural areas continue to exist. I'm Robert Moose Henrich, and I approve this ad. I can make a difference.
They always want to talk to the elders, but yet, you know, I think it's the language that they have that really can't communicate. I know the elders, they're willing to teach the kids, but I think it's a time of, or the kids is a time of wanting to learn. They need to somehow get motivated to like take back our heritage, our culture.
How you say, Red?
These kids, many of them, most of them don't speak Yupik. Their grandparents, most of them speak Yupik. I mean, and then in between there's their parents, halfway in between. I mean, there's a whole transitional thing going on here. There's an interesting dynamic happening between the city, rural Alaska, Yupik culture. So these kids have some more challenges than other kids. But you know, everywhere you are, wherever you are, I mean, being a kid is challenging. I mean, you're going through that whole growing stage.
The elders, they do want to take part in our children. They just want so much more put into our children.
We have an ongoing project, an elders project that we've been working on. The students 2 years ago went out and collected footage from all the elders in the village, and we went to a neighboring village. So we have over 30 hours of footage of elder interviews, and so we're trying to deal with that massive amount of footage with the kids. And so they're taking these elders, some of these interviews that they went on, some of them, and they're editing them down into a more manageable viewing program for the community at large.
This doesn't want to play. Look. It's that one's stuck. I don't know.
The kids love the elder interview. They feel real connected to it. It gives them a purpose. They know that the projects they're working on are going to be watched by people, and they know that they're preserving something that people will watch over a period of time. So actually they're capturing history, as well as finding out about the past from the elders. You know, we're becoming increasingly more of a visual culture rather than a print culture, and I think they just respond to seeing the elders on the screen and being able to pinpoint what's important and capturing it. They're getting the message the elders have to give them over and over again as they edit, and they're also preserving a piece of history for their relatives and you know, the people that are going to come up after them and other people in the community to see. You know, there's actually going to be, even, you know, since we started this project, several elders have died, and we have, you know, some of the last things they had to say to people on camera.
In order for them to be successful, they need our appreciation, our guidance. Because you know how a teenager or a youth is, they look up to somebody who's older than them, but then they're able to talk to their peers, but they always look up to somebody who's older than them. And I know they're always watching what we do. I just want to see them just be leaders of our community.
A lot of my students have goals, things they want to do. Some want to be police officers. I have one female student wants to be a pilot. Another student wants to be a teacher. Another student wants to be a health aide.
I've heard it said, school's the best show in town. I've heard that. I don't know what that means, but yeah, school's the center for the social. I mean, let's face it, schools have changed life out here.
With the technology, I mean, that's a big thing. I'm teaching them how to type and teach them how to express themselves in different kind of writing formats. And, you know, any kind of training that I do or other teachers do, or you're teaching them to verbally communicate and to apply what they're doing.
You know, was the measurement for the native knowledge, the knowledge that's been handed down from their parents and their parents' parents, and just their way, their outlook on the world. The more that you can involve the students with their culture and melt that with education, the more well-rounded, the more holistic the student's going to be. Unfortunately, there's a big pressure being put on us because of our standardized test scores to teach the basics. And I think teaching the basics, you know, reading, writing, and math, which they always talk about, is important. But this pressure from the state coming through the district, coming through, you know, coming on down the line, this pressure has changed the way we teach out here, and I think it's unfortunate.
Ready, skawedle, 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 ready, skawedle.
Although the youth of Alakanuk had been able to understand the speaking of their native tongue, they lacked the knowledge to speak it themselves. So because of this threatening language barrier, the community took action, and within the last 6 years, Alakanuk created a bicultural, bilingual program started in kindergarten and continuing through 8th grade to help ensure that the Yupik ways are not forgotten.
A child is learning Yupik and English. If we drop one, like English and just teach Yupik, they're going to be lost. They wouldn't really know where they're going or what they want to do, because, you know, they know both ways, but if we just drop one and try to teach the other, they're going to be lost, because they're in a time where a lot of changes are happening.
Stay tuned for this generation.
Aviation. It's knowing how to make distances seem shorter. The art of buying you time. The business of bringing people together, and another reason to look up. Era Aviation. This is our sky.
Jeannie Green Productions, Alaska's premier commercial, documentary, and event production team. Whenever and wherever you need video production, our experienced, dedicated professionals give your project the extra edge you're looking for. Alaska Native owned and operated. Jeannie Green Productions, your complete video production service.
It's easy to see that the youth of Alakanuk are in touch with their culture, but what about their future? There's a nationwide movement taking place that's aimed at preparing the youth across America for the future of tomorrow. It's called the Youth Opportunity Movement. The state of Alaska has received $8 million in funding to be divided amongst 45 different villages across the state. These villages have the highest poverty levels and lowest employment rates statewide. Through this program, kids are learning the skills necessary to survive in the workforce of the 21st century. Within this program, there are students, youth coordinators, employment specialists, and youth development specialists. everything it takes to help prepare these kids for the future.
Us just are youth development specialists because they are the front line, because they have to deal with the youth one by one every day with problems from big to small. It doesn't matter what it is. They deal with the feelings, the brain work. So the only time they really get to me is when they really need the help.
The youth that have dropped out, I'm just trying to help them at least try to get back to school or just get their GED. So far there's been 2 successes, which I'm glad.
I see Clara's up here working with the kids all the time, having a positive impact on the kids, a place where the kids can go and talk. I see Clara every day. That tells me it's working, and the kids are talking to her. She's helping them connect with after high school job opportunities, scholarships. That stuff's great. That's what we need. You know, she kind of takes the place. We don't have our district doesn't have the money or whatever to have a full-time counselor at our school. She's kind of taken that role on, and I think that's good. And I think the program's a real positive one, and it's a step in the right direction.
It looks like they're elevating in the prospects of reaching their educational goals, which is high school diploma and GED, and getting them back to school.
Yeah, I'm part of the Youth Opportunity Program. I joined it because I heard they help you find places that you may want to go to school. They help you with that process and help you find scholarships and apply for those.
Part of the grant money given to each village will go towards a youth center so that these kids will have a place to call their own. But it's not just a place of recreation. It's also a place where the youth of Alakanuk can go to get job skills training, resume writing classes, and other important skills that will help them in the outside world. During the summer, these youth also receive valuable work experience, performing community work and city jobs. And for many of these kids, it's the first time they're getting paid to work.
Well, there's a lot of youth enrolled to the program. We're looking at having them getting into activities and documenting them to our program.
And I realized that students that I work with, they're just people. People who are trying to at least start a life, or they're in the age of just becoming an adult. There's a lot of changes that I see within the community and around them.
I asked her about the program and she told me what they do and how they help kids, how they want to help kids and students go to higher training. And I thought that would be good for me.
We are trying to bridge that gap, I guess, and make it a two-way bridge so that a student doesn't have to leave that aspect of their identity at home as they come and take part here in the university or the college.
Aleta Alstrom is one of the success stories to come out of Alakanuk. After finishing high school, Aleta left her village to pursue a higher education with a little help from the Youth Opportunity Program. Aleta is attending Alaska Pacific University in Anchorage with plans of becoming a photojournalist. Through the Youth Enrichment Program, a youth opportunity partner, Aleta is taking the first steps to making her dreams come true.
My advisor notified me about this Native American Institute in South Dakota, and it focuses on 3 majors: photography, photojournalism, and journalism. And that's what I want to get into, is photojournalism. And if I get accepted, I'll do that for 6 weeks out of the summer, and hopefully get some credits in photojournalism. And yeah, that'll give me a sense of if I want to continue that major or not.
Unlike some students, Aleta knows what she wants to do, and she's determined to reach that goal and does 110%. You know, it's never good enough to just get by for Aleta. She really applies herself.
Having them reach their goals is the most happiest moment for me personally, for our youth.
I hope it expands. This is the first year we've done this program at APU. We've been doing it for a couple of years at UAA. And APU is a really good place because it's a small and close-knit community for somebody that's coming from a small and close-knit place. I'd like to see in the future many more students coming into the program from these rural communities.
The program's great. I mean, I don't know what I'd do without it.
Thank you all for joining us and the people of Alakanuk. I'm Bethany Stanley. That's our show for this week, but be sure to tune in next week for another exciting look at this generation. Until then, goodbye and God bless.